Yo, what's good, y'all boys? It's Matt from Switch Talks here, and today we're gonna be doing a little recap of day one of the summer league. And it was a great start to the summer league. There was a couple good games. We got to see some of the top lottery picks, show off their game and show out their picks so highly in the draft. So let's get into this recap. Before I start the video, I just want to remind you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to do that and always show love to the channel. And let's get right into this recap. So first, I'm gonna be going over. There's 5 games I'm gonna be going over today. I think there is still 2 more games to be played, which is the Lakers Suns, which is about to be played as I'm recording this, and then the Heat Nuggets, which is also being played as I'm recording this. But I think those games were, less important. So I'm just gonna get this video out earlier to you guys. So yeah. So the first game I'll be going over is, I think, was the best game today, which was the Cavaliers versus the Rockets. Now in this game, we saw Jalen Green, the number 2 pick, go up against Evan Mobley, the number 3 pick, and Jalen Green just went off. It was honestly, one of the most impressive performance of the day, amongst others. And he looked like the best player on the floor by a mile. He was hitting, I believe he hit 2 or 3 step back threes, and like tough step back threes over 2 people. He was controlling the game through the pick and roll, not only with his scoring, but also with his playmaking, which is just something that I honestly didn't think that Jalen Green was as advanced of a playmaker as he is. And, I think he could play point guard. I know Kevin Porter Jr. came out with that little tweet or whatever and said he was a point guard, but I think Jalen Green, it's just one game, obviously, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I think he can be a point guard in the NBA just based off this one game and seeing how he just honestly just controlled his game. He was getting to the rim, getting to his mid-range spots, scoring on all 3 levels. It was just, Jalen Green had an amazing game. He also defended very well, which is something that, he wasn't expected to do coming into the NBA. So we'll see if he keeps that up. Evan Mobley, I don't want to say he had a bad game, but he definitely did kind of disappoint. He's a versatile scorer, as we've seen. He hit a mid-range shot, a face-up. He took it a little more. He had some drives to the basket, some post-ups. He had a nice poster on Gruba, I believe. So, he had a decent game, but you could tell he's still a little bit raw offensively. And, he just needs to get that strength up to where, some of those post moves that he was doing work out a little bit better. But, you could see the potential there. And obviously defensively, he had a great game. He switched onto guards, was blocked Sengun a couple times. So, he had a decent game. Nothing too crazy, but, I think he'll play better in the coming games. And then as for the other players on the Rockets, all of the first round picks from the Rockets looked to be hits in this first game. But Josh Christopher had a great game while Jalen Green was out. He kind of took over the scoring role and was just getting to his spots, hit a couple tough shots as well. And he was, impacting the game on defense, got a lot of mid-range shots. And then Alperen Sengun had an amazing game. He didn't shoot that well from the free throw line, but he got there a ton. As, the commentators literally wouldn't stop talking about how he talks to the ball. Like, okay, we get it. But yeah, he's just doing all the dirty work down there, just mucking it up down there in the trenches. He had 15 rebounds, 17 points. So, a great game. He showed great promise as well. So, the Rockets just looking like a great team there. And I'm not going to really talk about who really won and lost these games, because especially this early in the summer league, it doesn't matter. We're just kind of here to look at the young players, maybe some players that we didn't know about before that will secure themselves a roster spot for this upcoming year. And then the next game I'm going to talk about is the Pistons and the Thunder. This game just concluded, and it's unfortunate to say, just Cade Cunningham, he didn't have his best game. He's the number 1 overall pick. Everyone's expecting him to come out and, just kill everyone, especially after Jalen Green came out and did what he did. But, he didn't have a good game. He hit his first 2 shots, 2 threes, which really came out and surprised me, because I know Cade can shoot, but I don't think that should be his first option, shooting, which, I mean, the Pistons used him a little bit off ball in this game. I think a little bit more than they should. I think when you draft a guy #1 overall and you have someone who is on Cade's level as a playmaker, which he showed in Spurs today, he had some great passes. Not every one of them was finished by his teammates, but I think they should use him a little bit more on ball. I know obviously they want Killian Hayes. That was the lottery pick of theirs as well. They don't want to just have him sitting in the corner, so I understand that, they want to have a kind of a balance there. But I think Cade his on-ball reps definitely should be revved up a little bit. No joke there. I mean, no pun intended there with the Pistons. But yeah, I mean, Saddiq Bey had a good game. He had a really good game, actually. He was scoring really well, all 3 levels. Sekou Doumbouya had an amazing game. He was just everywhere. He was hitting, I believe he hit a couple threes. Defensively, he was amazing. And yeah, Luka Garza hit a 3. He's so slow, man. He's so slow. Luka Garza, when he's running down the court, he looks like he's struggling to get up there. And, he had a good game. I think he'll definitely secure himself a roster spot as well this year. So, I mean, as for that game, there wasn't really much to say. I mean, Cade could have had a better game, but, the first game, we're not going to come out and overreact. He didn't shoot well. He shot 5 for 17, 2 for 7 for 3. So, I mean, he'll get better. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Raptors and the Knicks. So the Raptors and the Knicks, if you watch this game, the thought that you would leave with is that Malachi Flynn is a real NBA player. Because, you kind of have these guys in the summer league who didn't really, or were trying to get into the NBA. And if you have your spot super secured, after your rookie year, you're not going to play in the summer league. Malachi Flynn showed that he's not supposed to be here because he just looked dominant out there. He was toying with defenders, breaking guys off, hitting threes. Malachi Flynn does not belong out there. And then Scotty Barnes, the #4 overall pick, he started off slow, but Scotty, one thing about Scotty, I believe he was the right pick over Jalen Suggs one. And one thing about Scotty is he's just gonna always bring you that energy. Scotty's always going to be giving you 100%, and it showed today. His offensive rebounding was great. Defense was great. He picked the guard, got on the floor and dove for it, passed it to his teammate for a layup, a wide-open fast break layup, which I think that play kind of represents Scotty Barnes as a player. He's still a little bit raw offensively, but he had a 3-pointer today. But clearly he's not the best shooter. He tried to take people off the dribble, which, I mean, he's not a scorer. That's not what you're getting in Scotty Barnes, but you got his playmaking was good. He had one amazing left-handed full court pass, and he's just playing great defense all night, versatile. So yeah, Scotty Barnes had a good game. And then as for the Knicks, their 2 rookies, Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes, just came out. They were shooting everything, and I don't think that's not a bad thing because I think that's what the Knicks need. They kind of need some guys that are gonna fill it up. But when I tell you, if Miles McBride or Quentin Grimes caught that thing, they were shooting it. They shot well this game, both of them. So, that's good for the Knicks. But their biggest bright spot this game was definitely Jericho Sims. Now, Jericho Sims is a guy who really wasn't even projected to get picked, for much of the college season. And he came out and he looked amazing. He looked like, I think I would compare him to a Jared Allen type of guy, where he just brought energy. He was just dunking everything, blocking shots, getting offensive rebounds, and that's a guy who's definitely always gonna have a spot in the NBA. So yeah, he had a really good game. And I'm gonna move on to the next game, which is the Hornets versus Blazers. Now this game was very exciting to watch as well, with Kai Jones, of course. Kai Jones had a mean poster where he destroyed poor Kenneth Faried. He's just trying to get back into the NBA. And, he just brought energy, same kind of in that Jericho Sims type of role, but, a little bit shorter. And Kai Jones moves really well. I thought he was the center, but he could really play power forward. I honestly think he might be able to play small forward. with how well he moves. I didn't think he would move that well at all. He's very quick, very agile, and he got up and down in transition and just looked dangerous all night. And then James Bouknight really had an amazing game as well. James Bouknight just, he had a nice block, and he was just controlling the game and through the pick and roll. He, as a pick and roll scorer, I think he's only second to Jalen Green. He had that nice buzzer beater to end the second quarter. And, he's just very polished. On top of his athleticism, he's a polished scorer. He's going to be really good next to LaMelo this year for sure. And then the final game I'm going to talk about today is the Hawks versus Celtics. Now, the Hawks versus Celtics was the first game of the Summer League, so it was all right. Sharif Cooper came out, and he did not play his best game. He had a really nice pass, a couple nice passes, but I think he's just trying to do too much in this first game. Which he'll be all right. But this first game, he just had a lot of turnovers just from trying to make, really tough passes. His shot wasn't falling, which he's not the best shooter, but, I think he'll be okay in the future. But the real bright spot for the Atlanta Hawks was Jalen Johnson, who he was all over the place. He was jumping out the gym, blocking shots. He has a deeper offensive bag than he showed at Duke, because he did a lot of things that I never saw him do in college. And he just had a good overall game. Had 20 and 10, so that was a good showing for him. So I think that's all I got to say about the games today. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know what your favorite performance of today was and your favorite game of today was. And I'm going to talk to y'all boys later. Peace.